Hey everyone, I'm going to do a video before we might lose power in the next few days. We're not getting the hurricane head on. I mean, I don't even know if it's a tropical storm anymore. Might be a tropical depression. Yeah, the storm's depressed. That's the joke I've always made. So we might lose power, we might not, but the winds are supposed to be crazy. We might be getting the outer bands at most, or outer outer bands, however you say it. I said outer bands the other night, and my mom's like, "No, they're not playing music," and I'm like, "Darn it." Anyways, being said, I'm hoping we don't lose power so I can do another video maybe in the next few days. But um, who knows? Oh, and when I was in Gettysburg, my camera decided this one just stopped recording completely. When I got home, it's like nothing happened. It's recording fine. I'm like, I brought that for a reason, and I took this off so I can put the lens on it, the cover on it, so the lens don't get ruined. Um, I don't know why my camera just decided to be like, oh, I'm not gonna record today. First, the screen went completely green. I don't even know how that happens or why that happened. If any of you guys camera people know what to do when the screen turns completely green, let me know. All I did was turn it off all the way on a tour, and that's when it stopped recording for the rest of the time I was in Gettysburg. And I'm like, are you serious? So with the videos I might be posting later on Gettysburg, might be from my phone. So the quality would kind of suck. Anyway, with that being said, let's continue our Washington tour. And with all the stories I'm reading, I really want to go to these places. Depending on how haunted or demonically haunted the place is. If it's a demonic haunting or evil, because demonic and evil are most of the time not the same thing. But with that being said, if it's demonic or evil, probably not. Because I don't want anything following me home. So, yeah. But again, let's start with our Washington's tour and see where it leads us. Known as America's most haunted pub, Kells Irish Restaurant and Pub's Sinister has continuous haunting the establishment despite being the go-to venue for large events, parties, caterings, tastings in Seattle. That's because at the time, this place was unsightly and celebration was one establishment that buried all the Seattle's dead and dying from mining accidents, tuberculosis, black diphtheria, cholera, and murder. And if I pronounce anything wrong, please let me know in the comments below. And if I pronounce any name wrong, I'm sorry in advance. One cabinet marker E.R. Butterworth received so many orders for building assets that the marker E.R. Butters that in the 1903 he decided to change careers to get more lucrative funeral businesses. He soon created the necrologic empire. The Seattle Daily Times reported that the Butterworths have the most complete establishment in the United States. And his influence on the funeral business has endured for ages. Oh, by the way, if you hear anything, it's very windy and it was like raining on and off like a few minutes ago. So if you hear anything, yeah. And I read on my weather app that there might be thunderstorms later on in the night. So if I'm filming and you hear roaring, it's probably thunder or my dog. Butterworth is a tribute to being the first business that has endured for ages. Long sentence. Butterworth, Butterworth earned most of his wealth by profiting off the dead and their families in unauthentic ways. The increase in debt from disease forced Seattle to take unprecedented steps to remove the disease from their homes and help prevent the spread of diseases. As an incentive, Seattle paid individual 50 for every money they bought to the morgue. Having one mortuary in town, E.R. Butterworth was the sole recipient of Seattle's dead. Not only this, but he also collected half the bounty paid to the body carriers because there was no other place for the dead to go. Without Butterworth's establishment to precede the bodies, that 50 bounty was worthless. And since 25 was half a year's salary for most, it became an incentive for murder. Butterworth furthered his career by becoming involved with the female Dr. Linda Hazard, nicknamed the Starvation Doctor, who developed an experimental treatment for the disease whereby you starve people to cure them. Linda wasn't a real MD, but she was able to legally practice in Washington State without a license due to the clause that gave exceptions to practitioners of alternative medicine. So, with that being said, kind of like Wiccans back in the day, Wiccans were persecuted for being witches with the way they used the earth remedies for medicine, where natural practice medicine wasn't working. So because their ways were different, they were persecuted as witches, which I guess in a way is the same, but I'm sitting here and I'm like, they were just trying to help, but back then they didn't realize it. So with this one, I guess back then she would be persecuted as a witch. Yeah. As one can imagine, because of her treatments, many died of starvation before they were ever cured. In, in 1911, two sisters underwent treatment with Dr. Hazard, and one of them died. Unfortunately, Butterworth allegedly displayed the wrong corpse to the family, and to this day, no one knows where the dead sister's body went. It was later discovered that the surviving but severely emaciated sister had signed over all the wealth to Butterworth, implicating him in the murder charges brought against Hazard for her sister's death. But without any concrete evidence against him, Dr. Hazard and her husband Sam were the only persons charged and convicted. He was sentenced to 2 to 20 years and sent off to Walla, wherever that is, to serve her term. She was released after serving only 2 years. Kells Irish Pub nestled within the historic Buttersworth building in Seattle, not your typical restaurant. While it offers a warm atmosphere, hearty meals, and a great selection of drinks, something else is simmering beneath the surface. Once a mortuary, the, the establishment has a history drenched in death and shadow. The very entrance you walked through was once where the dead were reeled in, and in the lingering spirits of those souls seem to... The hell? I have to admit, I've been noticing weird things lately, even when I'm not doing my videos. And I've been watching Fairly Odd Parents recently, and I don't. And even then, or when I'm playing Fortnite, I wish I could record and show what I'm seeing at the same time. Don't know how to do that right now. Oh, I was just gonna say it was a reflection of that light into the window because it's bouncing off of the window behind me and over there. So I'm gonna guess it was that and continue my story or the story. So it seemed to have never truly departed. It is said that the bodies that arrived here were patients of a doctor named Linda, who was known to store for patients from as a form of treatment. The Butterworth building is located at 1921 First Avenue, originally housed Butterworth and Sons Mortuary, providing all the services related to death, including the sale of coffins. Oh, speaking of that, as I was in Gettysburg, we actually drove by a mortuary that actually had coffins for sale, and I've never seen that in person before. I was like weirded out, and at the same time, I was like, I want to investigate that. And everything on in Gettysburg is pretty much the battlefield. The town was built on the battlefield, pretty much. And the buildings that were there before the battle, the land itself is old, very old. So, there's a lot of spiritual activity. Most of it is from the Civil War, but there are other spirits there that are before and after the Civil War, like Native American days and 1920s and all of that, and then stuff that may have happened in the future. I mean, the 1920s is the future to Native Americans, so sorry if I said anything. I'm just realizing that now. The mortuary was in operation until 1923, after which the building changed hands but never quite shook off its Mormon past. It's visible from this one side of a five and five from another. Today, it stands as a historic landmark, an eerie testament to his former life, just steps away from Pike Place Market. The building originally purpose was housed and prepare the dead, offering services that were unpredictable in the city at the time. It was even boasted that the first elevator on the West Coast used to transport bodies between floors. A newspaper article from the area described the mortuary as one of the most complete establishments of its kind in the nation. A place where the grieving could find solace in well-appropriate rooms and orient chapels. The building still remains in stained mahogany woodwork, and antique glass, silent witnesses to the sorrow and loss once contained within these walls. The Butterworth building was designed with practically in mind, yet its very configuration adds to the building's mystery. The upper floors were originally flats for employees, accessibility through a separate entrance. Below this, the floor housed shower rooms for coffins, burial garments, and consolation rooms where the grieving families could make their final arrangements. The main floor was faces First Avenue, held the morgues and embalming rooms. Excuse me. And private offices. A funeral chapels can be found on the floor as well, accommodating up to 150 people, with an additional 50 on the balcony, which also had space for a choir. The floor below the main floor, though still above ground, contained fireproof vaults where now I'm starting to see things. Where bodies could be stored indefinitely. And ancestral furniture in the time families often took the days or even weeks to decide the burial arrangements. Then there was the basement, a place now home to Kells Irish Pub. Once it served as the pub for the building's heating systems and stables for the funeral wagons. There were whispers that the basement would also cite cremations and embalming, though other sources suggest it merely housed storage space. Either way, the basement's grim history seeps into the present-name pub, where the spirits of a different sort are said to linger. The building itself seems to have pulsed with unexplained activity. Glasses slide off the table, and bars without any apparent pause mirrors shatter spontaneously, and plaster falls from the walls with unsettling frequencies. These incidences have been witnessed by both employees and patrons, contributing to the pub's eerie reputation. Even history pressing down on them as they enjoy their drink. They, the very space they occupy was once filled with reaping in the dead, and the echoes of that sorrow seem to resurrect into the air. Visitors have reported feeling sudden drops in temperature, hearing disembodied voices, whispers, and sensing an inexplicable presence watching them from the shadows. What if it's my eyeshadow that's making me? Because you can see my eyeshadow is sparkly, so maybe that's what it is. The Butterworth building was once a place where the dead were prepared for their final rest, but it seems the souls have refused to move on. Hell's Irish Pub, occupying the basement of the former mortuary, is reputedly one of Seattle's most haunted spots. The building's sinister past seemed to have left an incredible mark, with unexplained activity reported frequently by staff and visitors alike. Among the spirits that are said to haunt the pub, two are particularly well known. The first is a little girl with striking red hair. She is a mischievous spirit and often seen playing pranks on adults. But her real interest is interacting with children who visit the pub during the day. This ghostly child has been known to manipulate objects and even create toys for her young visitors. Who she is remains a mystery, but many believe she could be one of the countless children who have died during the 1918 flu pandemic. She presents as both sad. Her presence is both sad and unsettling. She seems to be forever searching for a playmate, stuck between the world of the living and the dead. The second spirit is a figure known as Charlie. Charlie is an older man, often spotted in the reflection of a windowless mirror behind the bar. He is usually seen wearing a derby hat, a relic of a bygone era, and seems to be a social spirit who enjoys lively atmosphere of the pub. Charlie often makes his presence known during live music performances, as if he is drawn to the energy and the joy of the living. Despite his spectral form, Charlie exudes a sense of force and contentment, as though he has found peace in the place that versus life and death. Kells Irish Pub is the Motherboard's building is not just a place to enjoy a pin and a meal. It's a getaway to the darker path, where the spirits of the dead seem to coexist with the living, from the playful ghost of a little girl to the admirable Charlie, the pub street. The spectral inhabitants are as much of a part of his character as the food and drink. These spirits, it seems, are drawn to warmth and life of the pub, soaking up the positive energy that flows through the space. They don't mean to frighten, but their presence is just a reminder that some places are forever marked by the past. If you if you visit, or if I visit, or if you actually have been there, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to see that place because they're friendly spirits from what I've researched about. And yeah, I will try to post some videos of me, excuse me, of me showing pictures of what I caught in Gettysburg. Make me realize, please tell me somebody just saw that orb. There was no fly right in front of me. I was just hoping it was dust. But I would love to see the Seattle Washington Kells Irish Pub. It sounds and looks interesting from what I've found online and other places, mostly online. Um, but yeah, with that being said, thank you guys for watching my channel and videos. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I am Haunted Girl, and I'll spook you later. The paranormal is my playground. And until next time, pleasant dreams.